You are now listening to or watching the It Takes All Kinds podcast.
Yeah, and if you aren't, you can head over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and listen to us now. Or head on over to Drib on YouTube and watch the video version as well.
And if you'd like to stay up to date on when we're releasing a new episode or any other fun information about the podcast, you can give us a follow on Instagram at It Takes All Kinds Podcast and on Twitter at ITAC Podcast. That's ITAK Podcast.
Without saying much else, we hope you enjoy this episode.
That really got me.
Hello and welcome to the It Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 109.
The vultures are waiting to pick your bones.
Number 109.
Hello there.
Yeah, and I don't mind.
We got, God, I've been awake since 4:45 this morning. So,
Is that true?
that is 100% true.
Can you prove that? Oh, wait, you literally texted me at 5 till 5.
4:45 I set an alarm.
Oh, let me read that one more time.
4:30, 4:45, 5 a.m.
Repeat, never.
Yeah.
What does it sound? Nuclear. Nuclear.
Nuclear.
It's the N-word. Nuclear.
The word I can't really talk about that much. Nuclear. Can't say the N-word.
Oh, what a guy. I shouldn't even repeat that, but it is literally what he said.
Yeah, it is. So, today is Wednesday, April 5th. Notorious Day of Legislation.
And Notorious Day of Kurt Cobain.
It was
dying.
Advocacy Day. Yeah, and you know, I wanted to talk about this.
Okay.
You had texted me in a fit of rage the other night about
Yes.
a certain another character, such as Kurt Cobain.
Wait.
No, because
Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
no, because a lot of popular culture accounts will just cash in on someone's death or the memory of someone as they're like an epic person, and it has been, you know, ever so many years since Kurt Cobain's death.
Right.
Today, you'll be hearing this on Good Friday.
That is true.
You're gonna be hearing this on the Good Friday. You're gonna be hearing this on the Best Friday. They started calling it a little bit different. Happy Passover, everybody. Is that the correct terminology?
Yeah, it's today. Yeah, it's Passover.
Is that the correct way to say?
Yeah,
Happy
it's Passover, you bigot.
So you're gonna be hearing this on April 7th.
Yes.
Good Friday.
Now, what's so good about Friday? Well, the good things we're going to be talking about is Gavin made his way to the Capitol today.
Yeah.
Not to storm it, but just to go there.
I will
on
say
a
we
school
did have a
trip.
demonstration on the stairs.
Interesting. I can't wait to hear about it. I don't know why I'm doing these hands. We're going to be talking about a woolly mammoth meatball. We're going to be talking about Jennifer Aniston. She's back in the news again. Brad and Angelina are back together. Brad and Angelina.
Brangelina.
I'm definitely too hot on the microphone. Talking about some verifications or whatever with Instagram and Twitter or whatever. And then, of course, free the big guy, Donnie Trump. He is being arrested on 136 counts of sexual misconduct, which is not true at all. Next door drama, what you listening to, the usual, we got it. We're going to try to be in more positive spirits. We didn't talk about that before the show, but last week's episode, I was dreading to re-listen to it. I always re-listen to the episodes.
I always re-listen to it.
And here, can I play this for you?
Yeah, and I don't mind having a dick up my ass.
Who said that?
Oh, pride.
What's that from? No, what's that from?
It's an Instagram clip. Can you hear what he's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mind having a dick up my
My
ass.
ass. I don't mind having a dick up my ass.
I'll show it to you later. It's my new soundbite.
So
That's what's going on, Gavin. I want to hear. I'm chomping at the bit.
Nipping at the bits.
The bit to hear about your trip to the United States Capitol. Right? You went to Washington today.
No, we did not go to Washington.
Oh shit.
We went to the second president, Jefferson City. Third president.
Yeah, you're
third
right.
president. Sorry, third. It's been a long day. Go ahead and strike me for that one. Noted historian expert over here, Gavin McGraven. So I started out my day waking up at 4:45, took a shower, got ready to wait for the bus. I decided to take a bus. I could have coordinated a ride with
Here's
someone.
a third.
No, I'm done. This is gonna be really long-winded because it was like 8-9 hours of my day. So
I'm excited, dude.
I decided to take the bus. It was a free bus ride, and I was like, I'm not paying for gas. I'm not paying for anything.
It's
And
free.
it was a free bus ride in a charter bus. And it's an hour and a half drive, about hour 45 from St. Louis
To Jefferson City.
Jefferson City, which is the capital of this great state we live in.
And what were you going there for?
So we had spent the last I think we spent technically like 3 weeks talking about 3 Fridays really, talking about legislation that's going to be affecting the pharmacy career path, pharmacy. I'm blanking on the words. Long day. I'm gonna keep saying that.
I would hope you would.
Yeah. Let me reiterate. I'm tired.
Gavin's had a long
I've had a
day.
long day. Just a pharmacy career and like the scope of practice of the pharmacy. So one of the two, one of them was vaccines because not like anti-vax, like, vaccines need to be legalized or whatever. It was legalized vaccines. It was not legalized vaccines. It was since 2020, pharmacists under the United States PrEP Act have been able to administer vaccines without a practicing physician signing off on every vaccine in a way.
Right.
There was like an electronic form that you could fill out that automatically put it in. I think there was a statewide one that was like, hey, use my doctorate, use my credentials to sign off on this.
Mm-hmm.
Or it might have actually been a national doctor, but that provision is ending like nationally. I think May 11th. Yeah, it is May 11th. States can, so it ends on May 11th, and then the legislation hearings stop May 12th. So that's one reason why we're like, we need to get this in and done before that happens, before May 12th, basically.
Right.
And as far as I know, that's passed, and it's basically just waiting to be signed on by the governor right now.
So what is
It was just a scope.
passed? Like what can they do now?
So it's just like anything that you've seen in the last 3 years that pharmacists have been able to do, such as administer. It's the same thing now.
Okay.
So instead of now we have to figure out what vaccines we're able to do, or it was like all the regular vaccines like polio, Tdap, like those kinds of things. You are still able to do COVID, still able to do in pharmacies now without a doctor. You're working with a doctor to get vaccines, because you do have to. In other states, you do have to. You didn't have to, but if the state doesn't have a law doing it, then you will have to ask a doctor, be like, hey, can I work with you, and have you sign off on vaccines that I'm administering, because the stats are that like 30 million flu shots were given this year in pharmacies, and only like 5 million in doctors' offices. So pharmacists are the ones administering the vaccines more often than doctors.
Yep. That's right.
And
you
nurses.
To get my vaccine.
So pharmacists still want that. It's a really, honestly, a great thing that we were able to do it in the first place. But
makes it a lot easier too,
yeah.
because I mean, like every time I've gone, like well, obviously, like you set up an appointment usually, but sometimes like my dad was saying he walked in and just got a vaccine. But it's so much quicker.
It's that easy
than going to a doctor's
yeah,
office.
And that's what
waiting, going into the room, waiting just to get a
exactly.
shot.
And that's and that is exactly what the bill was and that was what people advocated for the bill. We have a couple, and Missouri Pharmacists Association is the one that put on this advocacy day for pharmacists in the state of Missouri and students in the state of Missouri. So there was also some very small group of Southern Illinois University Edwardsville pharmacy school students, and then there were also UMKC students, pharmacy school UMKC, and then St. Louis College Pharmacy.
And so you guys went there to eavesdrop.
Yeah. No, well, we didn't really. We went there to talk to our state representative and state senator.
Okay.
in person about these two bills. So that was the
Okay.
first bill, was a vaccine one. And the second one was a transparency bill. There's these things called pharmacy benefit managers. And I'm going to simplify massively here.
Please do. I'm just kidding.
So I will explain. So they put it right in the middle. So insurance, so the PBM pays pharmacies for a drug about $8,000, for example.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's almost
So
how much I owe the
yeah.
IRS.
So the pharmacy pays a wholesaler and $8,000. So the PBM penalizes the pharmacy $8,000 for a typo on a claim submission. So the PBM will just take that $8,000 back, but they don't say why. They'll just be like, okay. So pharmacy benefit managers were intended to make it easier and like add freedom to pharmacies and choice and insurances and have more people insured and able to find different ways of paying at a pharmacy. So over time, what that's done is it's really done a number on pharmacies because the PBMs have slowly been chipping away more and more money that they take away. And it's per prescription per patient. So some PBMs will take away, $5 on a prescription, but they won't say why, and they can do it at any point in time, and then they won't reimburse you until years later.
So this is what people would call big pharma.
Yeah, this is
Well, I guess not, because it's manufacturers.
Yeah, it's not even a manufacturer. It's like a middleman.
Yeah, it's a pass-through.
Yeah, it's literally paying Paul to stealing from Peter to pay Paul.
Right.
They're stealing from the pharmacies to pay themselves. So
and why do we need them? Why do we need a
exactly?
PBM?
So we aren't asking for pharmacists, and this was mainly geared towards like community pharmacists because this is going to sound very bad, and it is. CVS has their own PBM. They have their own PBM. So
Okay.
CVS is like, hey, we're going to take some money from our own pharmacy. And then they're like, CVS pharmacists are probably like, okay, they don't really see it. It's not part of their thing. It's CVS Caremark.
So they're pretty much washing their money.
Yeah, and they're too big
sense.
to fail, and there's too many things going on. But basically, PBMs can set a price. So let's just say me, the pharmacist, buys a drug from a wholesaler for $10.
Okay.
PBM comes to my pharmacy and says, hey, if you don't charge them $15 for this drug, we aren't going to have any insurances claiming on your pharmacy. You won't be able to use any insurance at this pharmacy through our PBM. Okay. So they're like, okay, we'll charge them out. How much do you want us to pay? We want you to charge patients $15. Okay. What's that $15 going towards? What's that $5? What's that difference between 10 and 15? What's that $5 going to be used for?
Right.
What are we doing it for? When is that coming back to me? We don't know. We don't know when, where, who, what, when, or why any of that money is going, where it goes, what it's used for, if it ever gets reimbursed, if there's no like reason, there's no itemized list about what they took it out for and what they're using it for.
Right.
So what this bill did was make that happen, make them transparent on listing out what they're using it for.
I mean, is there?
There's no reason. So basically, there's no reason for a PBM, but
Right.
But PBMs are spreading their take. PBM's take on it was that it's going to inadvertently raise prices. They're telling representatives and senators, state representatives and senators, that bill's going to raise prices. You don't want that. And it's like, okay, but what it actually does is it allows pharmacists to decide the prices
Right.
and fight for better pricing on drugs rather than it ever going up. What pharmacist is going to be like, yeah, more people should pay more money for that drug? You know what I mean?
Right. And why making it transparent makes
and
things
they can
more
do
expensive.
again. They can do it at any prescription at any time for
Right.
whatever reason.
Right.
And whenever I worked at the community pharmacy over the summer for those 3 weeks for my my pharmacy experience, he showed me like he knows which ones the owner knew which prescriptions he was losing money on, And then he showed me the invoices from the PBM. CVS Caremark is like one of the worst, because they just will take whatever, whenever, and however. They'll just do it. They'll just be like, hey, here's all your prescriptions that were used under our insurance. We're taking this much money for that month, and you have to pay them. If you don't, then you lose the option of having those patients insured by that company. So, so it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's not fair to patients because they don't know why their drugs are so high. So this is also the interesting part is that PBM's also kind of low key. You know, have you ever heard of GoodRx?
Yeah.
Where you get lower pricing on things.
Yeah.
That's still technically a PBM backed thing.
Okay.
It's very weird. PBMs, they can decide the price. So they're like, oh, you want a cheaper price? Sure. Here's a pharmacy, like here's what it was at another pharmacy. So just price match it. And we're giving you permission to do it if you use GoodRx. But if you do that by yourself and you don't tell us, we're going to charge you for a fee and we won't say what that fee was for.
Right.
So it's like it's literally just they're lining their pockets and they're not saying why.
Right.
So that was the other bill. And so I went to Tim Wilson, right? So Travis Wilson and Bill Eigel, pro-life champion.
And did what?
And so
because I'm still kind of confused why.
So we went
down.
down. Because it was just like any Missouri Pharmacist Association member could have gone to this. So there were some very old people. There were some very young people. Recently graduated. There were other students, like I said, from our schools. So we went there and we got programming in this fashion. We had breakfast at 7 to 8. We registered and stuff like that. We had a welcome and legislative day overview. Then we had a Missouri Board of Pharmacy. They're the ones that decide whether or not I'm a pharmacist in the state of Missouri. They go through like laws, regulations, and things that they're changing. I think they had like an inspector from southeastern Missouri come and speak to us about like what changes we're going to see in Missouri Board of Pharmacy, like regulations in our pharmacy that might have to change, and things to stay up to date on. It was mainly just technician licenses, making sure your technicians are staying up to date with their licenses, and that's just like a $40 fee or whatever. And then we had from 9 to 11, we had 3 representatives and 1 state senator come and talk to us. We had Representative Dale Wright from District 116. We had Representative Benny Cook from District 142. And Representative Mike Stevens from District 128, and Senator Holly Rader in District 27.
And so these are all the good guys.
These are all the good guys in the eyes of the Missouri pharmacists.
Right.
All 4 of them are Republicans.
Interesting.
That's what I said too.
Interesting.
But I think that just comes the more I looked into it, these people, the 3 guys were kind of a little bit older.
Okay.
And Holly Rader was a little bit younger.
And are they
one of them? So
are they transparent with you and saying?
Well, they were the ones
they're
that
getting paid by the Missouri pharmacists.
Not sure. They didn't say. Okay. But they were the ones that backed the bill. They're the ones that wrote the bill. So
right.
So Missouri pharmacist was like, hey, you used to be a like I think it was Benny Cook used to be a pharmacist. And they're like, hey, you used to be a pharmacist. Why don't you tell us about your pharmacy? Or no, you know what? Benny Cook, his wife was a pharmacist.
Okay.
Dale Wright was the one who used to be a pharmacist, or he worked in pharmacy or something like that. And then Holly Rader, she has a very difficult story. She was around drug abuse for her whole life. Dropped out of high school, had a kid at 16, married someone at 16, moved across the country a bunch of times. And she said the reason why she backed the Senate bill is because she wants to help pharmacies because pharmacies helped her so much. Because they were, no matter where they went, it was always a friendly, welcoming environment. And she commends pharmacists, the pharmacy profession for that.
It's always good to find out that not all Republicans are
Yeah, that
shitbags,
was-
and that's coming from me.
Yeah, that was the thing is I think most of these people there's probably two things that they're probably most Republican for. That would be pro-life and gun control and pro-gun.
Sure.
I think I know Holly Rader for sure touted guns and God. So
Yeah.
that I mean, you know,
I know plenty of Republicans, especially
but
around
the
here,
thing
who
was
are,
is
like,
that yeah, exactly.
on the good side of some things, but then are like, but it's like like guns and abortion are like the two things that like
That's in
no
Missouri.
matter what you could be a outright socialist, but if those two things are the things that you're for, you are Republican.
Yeah,
Like
especially
that's
in
just
Missouri.
how it is, which is stupid.
yeah.
But
But because otherwise you'd be an independent and like you would never get any like representation.
right, exactly.
So
you have to pick something.
yeah, exactly. And so we those 4 state representatives and those 4
Came and talked to you.
came and talked to us, gave little speeches. Benny Cook was very short. Mike Stevens was an interesting character. Holly Rader told her story, and that was very impactful. I was not expecting anything like that.
Right.
Then we had the director of pharmacy for Mo Health Net, which is basically Missouri Medicaid, come in and talk to us and like not like scold, but just be not scold us, but scold pharmacists, but be like they pharmacists need to utilize the things that they have more. They have a lot. There's like money and, you know, there's things that he was talking about that went way over my head. I'm not a practicing pharmacist. Like
Right.
it was definitely geared towards the pharmacist in the room. And I was like, I'm a student. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Right.
And I don't work in a retail setting anymore. And basically he's saying that a lot of people are coming off of it and you need to, you know, be weary that, you know, you're going to see a lot more insurance changes and people coming off of because it was like again a COVID provision that allowed people to be on Medicaid if they met like a higher mark. So now they're lowering that back down. So anyway, told us about that and like how there's, you know, money not being used and there's like they do have a fee for service thing, which is what doctors do, where, you know, if they, you know, I'm going to talk to you about this medication. Okay, they're, you know, hearing you out for one. You know, they have like an itemized list of what they do. Well, pharmacists are able to do that. It's just that nobody really does it because they don't have the time to do it. And going in and doing that and, you know, getting those kinds of things is kind of difficult to like really get started and charge people for it. Then we had Loretta Bosing. She talked about how her son, she's an advocate against PBMs, which is great. She's a patient advocate. The reason why she got involved in patient advocacy was because her son had a liver transplant at like 3 or something like that, or 4. Like he had a failing liver. He was perfectly healthy, and then all of a sudden his color wasn't right. Told us her story about that, and she's really fighting for mail order pharmacies to have like either like cooled or temperature regulated like packaging for drugs, because she explained that one of the drugs that she was supposed to administer to her son while he was like 1 month post operation, the mail order, her insurance made her do a mail order pharmacy. So then that's more often than not you'll see that's coming up, and that's also because of PBMs, because they just want to eliminate, like, you know, that type of thing. But
they're the middleman, but
yeah,
want to eliminate the other middleman.
Yeah, exactly. So she thought the medicine could look kind of funky, but she's like, I'll try it anyway. It would look, you know, weird. Gave it to him, and then he had like a horrible reaction and had to go through like chemotherapy and stuff like that. And yeah, like
Jesus Christ.
yeah, and so she was really advocating for safety, like medication safety and packaging and stuff like that. So not against mail order pharmacy, but just like, you know, do better basically,
Right.
and people won't get hurt. And so she talked about that for a while, and that was really impactful. Excuse me.
Choked up.
Really impactful. I was not expecting that. Then we had lunch. And then we had a legislative update from our lobbyists, Jorgen Schlemeyer, and they had this other guy. Really, they both told us about like where the bills currently stood. So they told us that basically the vaccine one passed. It was just waiting to be signed.
So you guys were not on. You guys were not in.
No, we weren't in the
Okay.
chambers. We weren't allowed to do anything
You were
like
in like
that.
a conference room.
And he told us we were in a conference room in a hotel across the street, basically.
That's what I was thinking.
The lobbyist told us that mainly and he's a lobbyist for Gamble and Schleiermacher, which is like his own thing. So it's like he's advocating for Missouri Pharmacists Association. So Schleiermacher told us basically the one that they're going to be talking about the most today, probably 3 or 4 hours in both, or at least in the Senate, is going to be the sportsbook gambling allowed in Missouri.
And did that pass? Or?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And then we went over to the Missouri State Capitol. Well, I'm sorry. Pharmacists went over to the Missouri State Capitol, and then from 12 to 1, we had a Q&A with pharmacists, with a pharmacist panel, and they kind of answered questions and told us like what we should do in pharmacy school and that kind of thing, get involved, and then after that, we went over to the steps of the Capitol building and held up a sign that says "Stop PBM Abuse," a really long sign, and then 2 signs on either end. I'm gonna show you a picture.
So you guys had a what was the word you used?
Demonstration.
Demonstration.
Yeah, they didn't say like.
But it was like a photo.
Yeah,
op,
it was.
probably.
Yeah.
You hear that, guys?
Yeah. Can you take me?
I'm advocating for creed
oh,
rights.
goodness.
Oh wow, that's a lot of
Yeah.
wind.
Yeah, it was a lot of wind, but
Can you
that's,
see you? Whoop.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Gavin's on the news again.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. It looks like you're like smiling at the camera.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we were there. Wasn't a big crowd. I think it was just like, but it was it was for a good cause. So I can't I can't bash him because it was like, oh, it's not being heard or whatever. But
Did you try and get out of it? You're like, I don't really want to do
yeah,
this.
well, that's anyway. No, but some people it was kind of cold. Like it wasn't like nice
it's
out. It was
chilly.
windy and chilly, so I was like I have a drip like nose, so I was just like trying to like go like this like the whole
Your
day.
sleeves are dripping.
Yeah. So anyway, we were all wearing our white coats. We stood up there for like 30 minutes with basically no direction. Like nobody.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like we were just standing up there until 1:30 because the pharmacists were in their meetings with their representatives and state senators first before us. And probably, talk and I'm not sure if they did or not, but maybe testified, maybe advocated for it, but I don't know. But they had like appointments, and they had made previously appointments, and I guess I had the choice to either meet with the representatives on my own time, or go with a pharmacist and do it. And I chose the former. I was like, I'm just gonna do it on my own time. I'm sorry, I chose the latter. I'm just gonna do it on my own time.
So you didn't?
I didn't go with a pharmacist. I did it basically by myself.
Oh, you did go into
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. So after this demonstration, we went inside, went through the metal detector, and then we went to the St. Louis City representative and state senator, because that's where our college is. So have to put those out. So we had, I was in a group with our dean of pharmacy practice, and someone from the Office of Experiential Education, and a couple other of my friends, namely Allie, Sydney, and then there was an Appy student.
Shout out.
And so we looked up where their offices were, and we walked around and gave like a short 2-minute speech. But so most of them were all either like out of the office, so we just left a note. So I was stood outside of their offices whenever they went in. I wasn't going to go in and advocate for someone that talk to someone that I maybe doesn't think that they represent me or whatever. But So I went up to second floor, went to Travis Wilson, left a note, and I took a long time. I'm so slow at writing. I don't know why, but especially today, I was just very slow. But I was like, hey, vote for, that's very important to us. If you vote, like for PPM transparency, really appreciate it. Blah blah. Thank you, Gavin McRaven, pharmacy student. And then I went, and that was all really nice because they had, like, every single representative and senator had a secretary, so they were all like talking to him, hopefully talking to him. So then, I went down the hall to Bill Eigel, who is a meme in my mind, because he wanted to overturn the 2020 election.
Okay. The name sounded familiar.
And he was he's a pro-life champion and small business owner, representing St. Charles County mainly. And talked to his chief of staff, met his chief of staff. Didn't talk to Bill. I just missed him, I guess. They told me. They're like, literally just a minute ago they was in there. But they're like, he's chief of staff's here. Do you want to talk to him? And I'm like, sure. So me and the dean talked to him about PBM, Bill, namely. And then, like, we told him about the vaccine one. He's like, that one's already passed, right? And we're like, then I was like, yeah, we just wanted to thank him for our support on that bill. Like, I was just like, oh, yeah. Because it technically is. Like, they don't have to worry about it. So it's like, why am I going to give him another thing to worry about?
Right.
But Bill had some barbecue in there. I wasn't going to take it because anyway, it was a pretty big office. I wasn't expecting that, but he's got a corner office. So, yeah, he's got a white door. It's different than every other one. So, then we went up to the third floor, went to a couple St. Louis representatives. One of them, I don't remember who it was, but one of the St. Louis representatives, it was a guy who lost to Cori Bush for state or for federal House of Representatives, federal representative.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
don't know I don't remember his name, but a couple of my friends went in there to advocate for our bills, and he was out on the Senate floor at the time. And they went in there, not into the Senate floor, went into his office, and his secretary actually went and got him from the floor, and they talked to him for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
About that bill. And
Nice.
he was taking it very seriously, and they said, like, very young guy, and they said that they felt very heard, and he was asking questions, and he was like really getting to know like the ins and outs of the bill. I read the bill. It's only each one is like, I think the PBM one for the Senate and House was like 7 pages. So I was like, this is the easiest fucking read. I'm like, seriously, I don't know how anybody could oppose that. I'm going to look up the voting results of that, but I think MPA will eventually just communicate that to us. But I do want to look that up on my own time. Then after that, it was about like 2:45 whenever that had wrapped up, or like 2:40ish, and we had to get back to the bus at 2:45. But my Dr. T. Meyer, the Office of Experiential professor, was mentioning that she wanted to go, if she asked if we wanted to go to the gallery. And I'm like, yeah, let's go to the gallery. Let's go in there.
The art gallery?
Yeah, the art gallery. The gallery where you can sit up on top and look at the Senate floor, the House floor, blah, blah, blah. So
you did get in.
I did. Sat for maybe 5 minutes and heard about the gambling bill,
Nice.
about adding certain language to like a paragraph on the 4th page and saying that it's a game of skill.
Did you see any recognizable faces in there?
No, and that was the thing. Whenever I was standing out in that hallway for a while, and I seriously commend.
Oh, thank you, buddy. I should have noticed that.
I seriously commend the dean for being in there and talking to that representative for so long, and Allie and Angela, I think, was also in there, and then another professor was in there. But while that was happening, a lot of people were walking by, obviously, and they don't have name tags, so like I didn't know if any of these people were important, and I just made eye contact with them as they were walking around. I was just like, yeah, I was literally like,
hey, Bill.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was expecting maybe like one person I recognized. No one I recognized, and I was like, I was like, okay. But it's funny because one of the people who works for, who's a pharmacist who works for the Missouri Pharmacists Association, Dr. Eisenbeiss, and I talked to you after the show about her a couple weeks ago or last week, how I got her card and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And she said that whenever she went to her first legislative day, it was like she was thinking about them as celebrities, and I found myself in that type of position. But it was, like whenever you hear people say, talk to your representatives, talk to your senators, it seems so like, I won't do that.
Right.
But once you're in there, I mean, honestly, anybody can just go into Jefferson City, go to the office, and sign up for an appointment, or sign up for an appointment. Not in the office, but sign up for an appointment. Go to the office, meet with them, and then just go home. Like it like
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna do that at some point.
It's seriously, it was. So like whenever I see something like, oh, contact your somebody so and so, and I'm like, that seems a lot more realistic now that I see what goes into it.
Right. Yeah.
So long day. Then rode the bus ride home, and yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
interesting.
Not very exciting. It's not very exciting for the first half of the day, but we had just missed a breakfast. And I was also the only pharmacy student at my table. I was at a table with like 4 or 5 other people who were MPA members.
Were you assigned a table?
Yeah, we were assigned a table. I was with no other students. I thought it was very weird that I was, but I think it was because we were I think it was kind of sort of sorted by location roughly. Okay. But I don't think anybody else was around St. Charles area. There was like St. Peter's and stuff like that, and a different table. But
well, they've seen how well you play an old man.
Yeah, exactly.
In all those
so
plays, so they're like, well, he'll fit in.
Yeah, he'll fit right in. So I was at a table with, they didn't. This is not their fault, but also like you're adults. I'm the student here. You're a pharmacist. I'm the student here. You're the pharmacist for Missouri Pharmacists Association. I'm the pharmacy student for Missouri Pharmacists Association. You didn't want to say hello or...
Oh, they didn't talk to you?
No, they didn't talk to me for like the first 3.5 hours. They didn't talk to me until like halfway through lunch. And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. What's your name? Where are you from?
All right.
And I'm like, and they were talking, before that, I was trying to work my way in the conversation. They were talking about like hotels and stuff like that. And I was like, someone was like, oh yeah, he was talking about like how the air conditioning had like worn out in his room or something like that. So he opened up a window and he said he slept terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably really humid too. And then that was whenever they were like, oh my gosh, and they were talking about like their personal lives and like names and all that stuff like that. And it was like, I'm like, okay. And then so I eventually got to, speak my 2-minute, elevator speech to them. And they were worked for a drug wholesaler. It was like Cardinal Health. It wasn't like Cardinal Glennon, but it was Cardinal Health or Cardinal something. And I felt bad because I didn't know what they were talking about. The closest thing that maybe anybody would know about is McKesson is the one that supplies most hospitals in the St. Louis area. And I had brought that up. I was like, so you guys are like McKesson? And they're like, yeah, that's our direct competitor. And I was like, fuck. In my head, I'm like, fuck. I was like, I already fucked up. Like I wasn't like that, but I'm like, I just hit a sore spot.
You say that out loud, you're like, I fucked up.
Yeah. Oh gosh, why did I say that?
Oh guys, can I just apologize real quick?
Can we run that one back one more time?
Can we just pretend like I never said that? Please.
So they left to go go over to the offices an hour before us. So
they were gone.
They were gone.
And then you ate all their lunch.
Yeah. It was weird because they handed out what I thought was gravy like an hour and a half before lunch started. And I'm like, that's going to get cold by lunch. Mm-hmm. But it ended up being ranch dressing and Caesar dressing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is this? And then they sent out dessert, and I'm like, so we're just having cake for lunch?
Cake and gravy?
Yeah, I was my mind was not in the right place. And then they brought out the salads, and it was like a spring salad, and I'm like, so we started lunch, and we were eating. It's 11 o'clock. We're eating, and I'm kind of devouring it because I was really hungry. I missed breakfast because our bus got there a little bit late. I wasn't surprised by that. I think all of our charter buses for anything and band at least,
usually.
yeah. Yeah. I was looking around, and I'm like, are they bringing out like a hot meal, or like, are they bringing out hot food at any point? Because there was no indication there was gonna be more, because they like all the serving people left. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, salad for lunch then. I was kind of content with it because I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just eat all this, and I was like eating like the nuts, the strawberries, like I was like everything. And then they brought out a plate of chicken with like potato wedges basically, and green beans, and I was like, oh, okay, so we have this too. Okay, so I ate the chicken and I ate the green beans, and didn't really touch potatoes. I just couldn't ask myself to do that.
Why?
Because it still like had the skin on it, and I'm not a big like potato chunk eater. I'm like a very small, like if I had to mash it up, put like salt on it, butter, sour cream, I had to go the whole 9 yards with it. But I was like, nah, I don't even want to buy with it, because they were trying to strike up a conversation with the people at the table as well. Also during some of these during whenever we were hearing from some of these representatives, and like especially Missouri Health Net, I was able to really tune out. I was like in a state of like existential mode, where I was just like, what is the fucking point? Like, I was just not in a good mood, and I was thinking like, everybody fucking hates me. I'm like, everything sucks. Like, everybody hates me. I don't even know why I'm here. What can I do? Like, what can I do to be a better leader? I was thinking stuff like that, and it was just like, it just came over me, and I was like, then the Missouri Health Mo Health Net guy left, and I was like, oh yeah, there's like other things to be worrying about right now. So this very stupid, but so I had a long day.
Nice.
Yeah.
That all sounds like my own personal hell. A small talk, a banquet center, banquet food, and people talking about things that I have no interest in.
Yeah. I mean,
but
like,
it sounds like fun for you. The rest of it was. It
will
cool.
eventually affect me. It just has zero effect on me as a hospital student.
Right. You're not there yet, dude.
Stay
in your fucking lane, dude.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Oh, it's cool.
So what do you got going?
Nothing really.
How long was that?
About 45 minutes.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Which is fine. I don't care. I've talked enough about my shit.
Yeah, fuck you.
That you're allowed to have like 45 minutes every few months. That's all you really get. The rest of it is me, okay?
Yeah, it's your show.
So let's get back to.
I'm the co-host. You're the host.
Let's get back to me. Yeah, no, we'll just move. I just had a few things going on, but it's really not super important to talk about. Let's talk about this. Speaking of legislative balls of meat, woolly mammoth meatballs.
Woo!
Are
soon coming to a store near you.
Is what Gavin had for lunch. Actually, that was the hot meal.
Yeah.
So you sent me this? I believe
it was a video. It was like them unveiling it
with no context of why you sent it to me.
No, I was just like, it's fucking gross.
And I was like, what? What's going on?
I just wanted to see your reaction to it, because I was like, I know what this is, but I was like, it looks fucking terrible. It was like greasy. It was wet. It was just huge, and they just like unveiled it in this glass box. Weird.
All I will say is, well, not all I will say, but what I will say is that, like sci-fi type.
I hope these get really. I hope these meatballs get smaller. I hope they get smaller. I can eat them.
I cannot fit that in my mouth. Is that the sci-fi movies and shows have made like genetically modified meat or like weird lab-made meat
like
look exactly like how it actually is. It's like wet and like it's just very unnaturally glossy.
Yeah.
And like looking at it, it looks like it could move. You know what I mean? Like I think about that guy who. Have you ever seen the video of those bananas that move and the guy's like feeding the bananas?
Yeah, I have.
That's
yeah.
what it made me think of.
Yeah. Or
Even
it's
though
like a
it's-
staged like art thing.
Yeah, like you could see it like, like kind of like,
Undulating.
move around
Yeah.
or like have a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But no, what it is, in case you don't know, it's made. It was like I said, it was made in a lab grown meat that was made with the DNA of a woolly mammoth. And so I'm gonna read this.
How do you
which
spell
part's I
woolly
don't-
mammoth?
I was trying to figure that out too, and I think I spelled it wrong.
It looks wrong, but like how it's
It looks wrong.
WOOLL.
So this is from the Smithsonian Magazine.
Yes.
In a sense, the extinct woolly mammoth has returned as a meatball on Tuesday, which this was, actually last week. On Tuesday, an Australian cultured meat startup revealed a sphere of lab-grown meat produced with a DNA sequence from the elephant-like mammal. But you won't find this product in grocery stores, Gavin. The creation is not meant to be eaten, at least for now. Instead, the Mammoth Meatball aims to highlight the environmental aspects of standard agricultural practices and present cultured meat as a viable option for food production down the line. This is a quote from Tim Smith of the Vow.
Tim Naismith.
Naismith. We wanted to get people excited about the future of food being different to potentially what we have had before. Tim Smith, co-founder of Vow, the company behind the meatball, tells Mike Corder of the Associated Press. We thought the mammoth would be a conversation starter. What we wanted to do was see if we could create something that was a symbol of more exciting future that's not only better for us, but also better for the
Okay,
planet.
but Carson, the big question is, can I eat it? And what it looks like.
I think I already answered that question, and it was a big fat
no. So the reason they said is because it's a.
So why does it even matter?
Yeah. What's the point?
What's the fucking point of this?
Vow's meatball is not available for consumption. Scientists are not quite sure how modern human immune systems would react to the product.
But
Quote,
you know,
We're talking about a protein that hasn't existed for 5,000 years. I've got no idea what the potential allergenicity of this might be of this particular protein.
but Mischief's over there like,
Yeah,
What
they
can we
get
do with
band
this?
chips flavors.
what can we do with this big ball of meat? I was trying to find the part that I read
Oh, the smell.
that, and then I was trying to find somewhere.
They smelled it. They said it's compared to crocodile meat.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. They said that the spherical creation is between the size of a softball. It was made using a DNA sequence of a mammoth myoglobin, Protein
myoglobin.
a protein that gives meat its color and flavor, as well as genetic data from African elephants, the mammoth's closest living relative, to fill in the gaps.
Because they've been
And
thinking
then,
about like impregnating a African elephant with woolly mammoth, egg.
that gets me off. Yeah. Then scientists inserted the sequence into cells from a sheep and coaxed them
Yeah, there you go. Coax them.
to multiply into 20 billion cells that made up the final meatball. So it's like it's probably like just a little
they
bit
slow
of
bake
mammoth
the
DNA.
meatball, then blow torch its outside.
Oh. Joe Rogan.
They did it. No, they did that on stage.
Yeah, they did, and then people were like, alligator, Or
Crocodile.
crocodile.
Crocodilian.
But it's funny because it's like it's just barely using woolly mammoth DNA. But it's like they said, it's to get
enough.
people talking. And they did. They got us talking. It was interesting. It interested me, man. I wanted to know, but I was hungry looking at this.
Myself.
So that's the mammoth meatball. Pretty cool science stuff. We're really flexing our sciencey muscles or our brains today with legislations and coaxed, not coaxed. Apparently, my brain is not.
You're in the
My brain
you're
is
in the AV.
smooth.
You're in the audiophile area there, buddy.
My brain is quite smooth, actually.
Smooth brain.
Moving
You're like
on.
a koala.
Moving on to some more smooth brain thoughts. Jennifer Aniston.
Make sure you spell that right too.
Jennifer Aniston. How do you say it? So she said the headline reads, Jennifer Aniston says, a whole generation now finds Friends offensive. And this is from CNN. Now, I found out about this from Gavin, who had some choice words to say. But before we get to his choice words, let me read what she said. So the actress was promoting her, film that will go nowhere because it sucks, and said, when the topic of Friends came up, comedy has evolved. Movies have evolved. Now it's a little tricky because you have to be very careful, which makes it really hard for comedians, because the beauty of comedy is that we make fun of ourselves, make fun of life. There's a whole generation of people, kids, who are now going back to episodes of Friends and find them offensive. There were things that were never intentional, and others, well, we should have thought it through. But I don't think there was a sensitivity like there is now. It's like, that's why those jokes were being made. And it wasn't the sensitivity, is that you guys didn't give a fuck about what, there wasn't. What's happened is we've evolved as people, and we've
culture.
seen that those jokes are offensive because now there's social media and there's places for these minorities, these minority groups to have a voice, whereas before they didn't. So it was always offensive in the same way. It was just normalized because nobody had a platform to speak out on it.
And there was also literally 0 black characters or any person of color in the entire series.
Right. And the creators
said that they apologized. They said admitting accepting guilt is not easy.
And donated some money.
Yeah.
And whatever. And I think really she's mainly, she wasn't touching on that because obviously the creators already did. My assumption of what she was mostly talking about is the gay stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's not
and
even
this was
joking.
Post-AIDS.
Yeah, not even joking. Somebody who has seen
AIDS.
seen AIDS for myself under a microscope. It was my own DNA of a woolly mammoth. As somebody who has seen many episodes of Friends, now I will be honest, and I know and I want to get. Obviously, we're gonna talk about our own opinions on it, but I do enjoy watching the show. I don't really watch it, but if an episode's on, at a hotel, I'll watch it. But
I can't.
And I want to get to you in a minute. And so, as someone who's seen many episodes, I can tell you for sure that no joke, every other episode has a gay joke in it. And it's very gay panicky. And by gay joke, it's oh yeah, that person's gay. And obviously Seinfeld.
He's gay, isn't he?
Seinfeld did the same thing, not to the same extent. Friends, it was literally a reoccurring thing.
Yeah.
And it was, and the Seinfeld joke was the one episode where they did bring up the gay stuff, so to speak. The gays. They were they would back it up with saying, not that there's anything wrong with that. That was the joke.
Yeah.
That was the butt of that was the joke in that episode, which is that's joking about, that's making that, what she was saying. It was
They're making fun of life.
Yeah. We're making fun of the people who are talking about gay people all the time.
Yeah.
Now, what Seinfeld was doing was that case in the show Seinfeld. What Friends is doing is literally making it
the point of contention.
Yeah, it's not even really a joke. It's literally just something they would just bring up. Because the main thing, if I'm remembering correctly, is that the coffee shop barista, Gunther, I think his name was,
is gay.
Is gay, or said he wasn't gay, but they were he's for sure gay or something. It was something along the lines of that. So that's why the joke was always brought up, because obviously the show takes place in 3 different sets. So it's definitely, watching that show back now, it's definitely not that. You know what I mean? And of course, that was a long time ago. And I really don't think there's that many people who watch Friends and go, oh man,
I wish the show wasn't as
this
offensive.
should be canceled. There's probably that's the thing is that's the thing with all every talking point.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's 5 people have said that, so that's the majority.
Yeah.
And that's probably all it is, because I don't watch
No,
Friends.
I'm not calling it out for
No.
being I'm not saying oh, don't watch this show.
Right, and even
boycott it.
And even though I feel that watching it now and seeing them bring up the gay panic stuff, I don't watch that and go, Like I don't watch that and go, oh, this show should be canceled. Everybody in it should be canceled. I just watch it and go like, it was a sign of the times. I recognize that it was wrong,
Yeah.
and I'm sure Jennifer Aniston. Well, maybe she doesn't because obviously she's saying something different. But I'm sure a lot of those people do, and it was just like I look at like we were talking about the iDubbbz thing the other week, and it was just like, it was just it doesn't make it right, but it was just like that's just the way it was, and like. I don't think the show should be. Nobody actually thinks the show should be taken off the air or canceled or anything because there are a lot. Though there aren't as much gay panic stuff in Seinfeld, there is, but there is a lot of other worse stuff in Seinfeld for sure. That go into a direction that it's like you know what I mean. So it's like it's just a sign of how it was,
and it also just shows that the staying power of these two shows. Constantly being in a battle between each other.
Right, sure.
I
mean, I don't know if they actually are,
but I mean, like, if there's probably people that are like, oh, I don't watch Seinfeld, I only watch Friends, or
right.
But anyway, so I tweeted that Jennifer, the show just sucked.
Right.
I did not, and I do not enjoy watching it.
Sure.
The jokes are now played out. Then maybe could have been thought as innovative, but. I just can't watch it. It just sucks. The acting sucks. It also just because like I've seen David Schwimmer. He was in Curb Your Enthusiasm for a little while. I mean, I've seen David Schwimmer in other things, and like I see them so often as real people and not actors that I've just become like I can't put myself in that. Oh, they're playing characters. It's like that's Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah,
like
I feel you.
That's David Schwimmer.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, that's Chandler Bing. I don't know his real name. Same thing with
Matthew Perry
and Courtney Cox and
so when we were
Phoebe
watching Scream
and Phoebe.
I think I even made a joke at the end of the newest Scream movie where I was like, I forgot what the joke was, but it was something like
she said that she was like the sex appeal or something like that.
Yeah,
Courtney Cox was
yeah.
like the sex appeal in the movie or something like that.
I don't know, but I just remember walking out and saying something about like in Chandler and Rachel or something like that.
Yeah.
But like in the Scream universe.
Yeah.
Because like you're right, that is just the way I think about them.
Yeah,
too.
I just can't. And then like the laugh track just kind of adds to it.
Sure.
To like adds to my disdain.
But there's a
for
laugh
it.
track in Seinfeld.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different. I feel like
it's different humor.
It is, and
It's
like
different.
it felt. I don't know why. This is probably just me. Maybe it isn't, but I feel like the Seinfeld was like, I don't know, Friends.
There was no drama in Seinfeld. There was no real
and
drama.
there was no like continuous
the thing.
storyline to watch,
Right.
To keep track of.
Yeah, it was a sitcom that didn't have real drama.
Consequences.
Yeah,
too.
or like actual consequences.
Yeah.
Like it's all just like that
It
would
was
be
literally
so easily fixed
a
if you
cartoon.
did this. Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be
literally
like,
just a live action cartoon.
exactly. Whereas like
Simpsons
Friends,
or-
it was like we're trying to make this serious, and there's serious consequences and like dramatic moments of love, and what I mean, and that's why people love it.
We were on a break.
Right, and that's why people love it.
Yeah.
Is
Pivot!
because of that. I like the funny moments of it, but I also don't love that show. If I'm being
And
honest.
also, this theme song sucks.
Well, sure, yeah, it's not.
I can't listen.
Sure.
Like, it brings me great disgust to hear that song. Like,
That's fine.
That sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't feel good whenever I hear it. I don't hate it. To me, it's nostalgic because my mom would always watch Friends.
we
growing
never
up.
watched it.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm being completely honest, but my mom would, and so like
We
that-
watched Jeopardy.
right. I believe you.
No, I realized a cartoon that played a lot into my humor, speaking of comedy, was Billy and Mandy. The Grim Adventures of Billy and
Oh
Mandy.
yeah, of course.
That show played a lot into. I didn't realize it until I was watching clips on TikTok. Obviously, just how many episodes we watched and how much we watched it. I think that was also a big reason why I was so annoying as a kid, because like that show, there was a comedic timing in there that like was like the longer the joke went on, it was funnier. So like that's just where I like.
Yeah.
That's where I resided, was just being annoying for a long time, and I was like, this is just like Billy and Mandy. I'm really funny.
I know the show, but I couldn't. I don't remember anything from it. I don't think I watched it very often.
Oh, we watched it so much.
I
So
was a
good.
bit the one show that really I think affected me, like the cartoon that affected me comedically as a child was
Oh, shut up.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
and especially the cheese
Mhm.
character, because it was like
Imagine cheese, but an entire show.
okay, Billy and Mandy was that high energy,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
yeah.
Then
I got to show you this clip, but there's an entire character that his bit was that he is Fred Burger, and he
okay, that sounds familiar.
his entire bit was that he was just really fucking annoying.
Oh, he would like just come in and
just be really
say
annoying.
his name or something.
Yeah,
right?
and he'd just say it and spell
which was
it.
like what cheese would
yeah,
do too.
but it was for several episodes. Like Cheese was kind of like, came in every once in a while. And
Yeah.
there was like a series where it was like kind of in the same episodes, but like no consequences. There was no. It was again like bizarre situations. I watched a clip. I forgot about this one where this stupid kid, like asked a cursed skull, and he had 5 wishes, and he's like, I want a bunny that loves me so much. I want it to love me to death. And so then it's like this bunny that like psychically contacts him and then like tries to kill him because they're like, he's like, love is sometimes tough, Pudgy, or something like that. And it seriously is like, yeah, it was basically like regular show before regular show, where it was like shit would happen. Like it started out regular, and then it just became a fucking insane show.
okay,
But I'll have to show you the clips I was watching. They were real, like it's insane. But anyway,
yeah.
Moving on.
That just made me think of that.
not a big fan of Friends, notoriously.
No, and
but that's why I also bought that Friend shirt.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah, just to wrap that up, one thing I didn't get to say is that just like, that comedy was then, this is now, we evolve, we move on, and we figure out what was right and wrong. It doesn't mean that the show is inherently wrong. It just means that was a sign of the times. We recognize what in it was wrong, and it's time to move on, and let's evolve. And that's why, and that's what's so stupid about all of these fucking comedians, because there's so many comedians now that are just like, for whatever reason, writing this line of like, well, can't make those jokes anymore, and like the
I don't know.
Chris Rock
Yeah.
can't, they're gonna cancel me. It's like, no, it's in your fucking
I
head.
will say,
it's all in your head.
as much as I don't really like Adam Sandler, one person who has not said anything about that is Adam Sandler.
Yeah. You're
I
right.
commend
You're
him
right.
for that, because it's like, dude's just doing his own thing.
And he's
Like,
in that era that could and
Yeah,
and
very
would.
well. He could be saying stuff and like completely ruin his image
Right.
and make him like a polarized character, not just like a polarizing character of like, oh, I thought his jokes were funny then and they're still funny, and that.
Well, they're co-starring in this movie together, so
Well,
maybe he'll talk some
that's
sense into it.
I watched that movie.
The
first,
murder mystery.
Yeah, the first one.
Was it good?
No, but
Okay.
it was. It was an average movie. It was a time waster.
Yeah.
It was whatever.
Did you watch Who Be Halloween?
No, I did not watch TV Halloween.
Dude, you got to watch it. I haven't seen it.
But again, in that movie, it felt like Jennifer Aniston was just playing Jennifer Aniston. But I
Yeah,
thought
she kind
of
of plays.
Adam
She always
Sandler.
plays the same character. Well, Adam Sandler kind of does too.
Yeah, but I watched him in Hustle, which is a basketball movie,
Right.
and same could be said about Uncut Gems, and like
Yeah.
there's a believable character behind that, but Jennifer Aniston just plays the same character.
Yeah. I'm sort of with you on that because
It's just because she plays that like the.
I agree
kinda
that
like the
she
nagging
does, but I
character.
also agree that Adam Sandler is the same way.
Yeah, he's the same way, and like in his earlier movies, he played the exact same character for like 5 or 6 or 7 movies. He
Right.
played like Grown Ups, Happy
Gilmore,
Gilmore,
You
at
combined two
Madison,
movies.
whatever the fucking Madison one was.
Happy Madison,
Billy Madison.
Billy Gilmore.
Well, because his studio is Happy Madison, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know.
So,
that. Okay, you weren't wrong. You weren't wrong.
but
but
like
yeah,
he played the
so-
same character over and over again. so.
Right. So it's time to move on from that.
It's
and
time to
evolve.
move on.
It's time to move on. Jennifer,
J Lo.
J Lo, and J Rod, and J Rock from Trailer Park Boys.
Hey, Jennifer Aniston, the '90s called. They want their humor back.
Oh, you got him, Gavin. You really got him. Damn, he's just the cameraman today. He's just on it. He's got
Can you?
Sure, tell me, girl, if life is gonna be this way.
Here,
Just like the Jason Bears and Bassett to your
no
hair. That's the Mr. Creed singing that.
Can you? My
Jay-
dad showed me a Marlon song that he wrote. I'll have to show you that. That was a really good song.
A what?
The guy from Creed, the lead singer, wrote a song about the Marlins. Like sore Marlins.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I did not know. I forgot about it. I think I watched a video on a long time ago.
Oh yeah, and he's like,
His last name's like Stapp.
is that the swing about a swing? Is that it? Or is that something else?
That's something else, but it's
no,
close.
it's something else. But it is like that.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because the first time I saw it was at the humble brag, the Office Hours Live Chicago show. Because Steve Albini brought it up,
Oh, the
and
Marlins
they
baseball.
showed it on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I completely forgot.
And they put
and
it-
then we got copyright, like a copyright claim on the episode because of that. So thanks, Steve Albini.
Yeah.
Wow, just name drop it there. Because we also watched.
Because that's a really bad song. It's insanely bad. But like,
What got us? I think what got us talking about it is that we watched Ozzy Osbourne singing "Sleigh Bells Ring." Are you? Have you ever seen him
No.
sing it? It's so bad.
Anyway.
But anyway, sorry that I
Can
was like,
you-
I know I've heard that. Fuck, I wish I could. I feel like I can hear. I can see the
there's a
video
baseball
in my
bat
head.
sound
Yeah.
in it too.
I can see the video in my head, but I can't hear the
It's like
song.
a compilation of like the best
Yeah.
Marlins moments.
And then him singing.
Yeah,
and it's like it's so bad.
so
though.
bad.
Shout out to Billy Creed. That's not his name. I don't know what his name is.
Something Stapp.
Gavin, riddle me this, man. Instagram rolls out their paid verification, and then Twitter rolls back their legacy one. But switcheroo, they didn't. Riddle me this.
I did not. Okay, so I knew the Twitter thing, but that was just because rich people weren't going to pay for it, and Elon couldn't risk people doing the same thing they did when they first rolled out verification.
Right.
So, and then also like right before they were supposed to be all removed, they actually ended up finding out that the code, what ended up happening is that the code has to be like every single legacy verification would have to be written out of the code or out of every profile by hand. So
they
they
just figured that
only
out.
did it for the New York Times.
What?
And then made NPR a state affiliated media.
I didn't hear about that at all.
Yeah, it just political chess.
Yeah.
By not even chess, fucking
By
checkers.
Ellen.
By fucking Ellen. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
So if you don't know, what Gavin was saying is that Twitter announced that they were going to be. Well, they've been
Teasing.
Elon announced that has been teasing pretty much since buying Twitter that he was going to remove, once they rolled out the paid verification, they were going to take all of the legacy verification. Now, what that means is just anybody who is verified
Before Elon took over.
before Elon took over, literally. And so he said that, and then it was like, this is the day it's happening, and it was like Saturday or
And
something
then I
like
think
that.
LeBron was like, I'm
not
not
doing
paying
that.
it. He's like, I'm not paying $8.
yeah. And
So that was honest. That might have been another tipping point. Was that so many millionaires were like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
never paying $8.
William
for this
Shatner
fucking-"
was like, I don't know what's going on, but apparently they're taking it away. He like tweeted out something
Yeah.
like that. It was just like he had
What
no
did he
idea
see
what was
in
happening.
space? What did he see?
Poor guy. And so they announced that, and then it was like, this is the day it's happening. And then the day it happened, all that came up was whenever you would go to a verified account, legacy or paid, you would hover over the verification, and it says like, this account is verified because it was either
legacy
paid
account?
Twitter Blue or are they even
A
calling
legacy
that
account
anymore?
or
Are they even calling it
previously
Twitter Blue?
verified or Twitter Blue subscriber.
It's still calling it
And
that?
yeah,
Okay.
it was like it was this or in the same one because
Right.
before it would because
That's easy code
yeah,
to write.
Yeah,
if you just write
and-
the same thing for everyone.
and the Twitter Blue people kept getting fucking laughed at on Twitter
Because they had it,
because
yeah.
they were paying for Twitter and they were like, Elon, can you make them stop making fun of me for it?
Tell
And then
them to
they were
stop.
also maybe teasing, like some people had seen some like leaked beta codes or something like that maybe you could turn off your blue check, which is really funny to me.
What the fuck? That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm getting too much heat. I'm gonna turn it off. But so that happened, and then all of a sudden, now you give me your opinion on this, or you tell me what you know on this in a second. don't talk over me. I was kidding. I was on Oh, he's falling asleep. I was on Instagram, and I was in my DMs, and I was just scrolling past, and I was like, wait a minute, that person's verified? And then I went to their account as a friend of mine, and I was like, did he like pay someone off at Instagram? And then I was like, oh, right, they were going to roll that out, paid verification, do the same thing that Twitter's doing, but I think like quite a bit more expensive. And I was like, oh, they did that, because I noticed another person who had it, who you actually know. I don't want to just call them out on it, but, and I was like, oh, they rolled that out. I didn't even know that they did that. And then I found some article that they like, it came out like a month ago or something. Did you know that?
No, I knew that they were rolling back the Reels payment program.
Oh, I didn't even know anything about that.
So,
but you didn't know. But
No.
you knew that they were going to come out with a paid verification.
yeah, but I was like,
Apparently
why?
it's out, I guess. Well, because they want to do this. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I truly feel on it, because people I like have it, but then also people I like are saying like, yeah, we think it's a good thing, and I'm like, I don't know what I think.
It's
about
weird because like, I think I mean I get it, because some people don't want these celebrities to think that they're holier than thou because
Sure.
they have a verification,
Yeah.
but they are celebrities, and we need to make sure that those are the same people. Those are the people,
Yeah,
and they're
of
not
course.
impersonators.
Right.
But I also see the value in having normal people verified, because it's like, oh, this is them.
I do too.
I get it, because it's like, because I mean, even some of our friends get like scammed, not to like bash on them, but
Sure.
they'll get scammed, and then you don't know whether or not it's their real account or not, and
But this
you
is
get
the thing.
also fake people pretending to have an OnlyFans for someone, all this shit like that.
Right. And that really pisses me off. Well, actually, it kind of does. I was thinking you were saying something else, but that actually does piss me off. Whenever they have the fake account
Yeah.
and they use someone else's image.
Yeah.
That happened to somebody very close to me. Actually, like twice, I think, at one point. They're not close to me anymore. So fuck them. So I don't care about it.
Jeez. Okay. Forget I said anything. Sorry.
Anyways, the one thing that to push back on that for me is that, do you know if there's any verification process that they're verifying that this is a real person paying for this verification? Because Twitter, I'm sure they're not, and Instagram, I haven't seen anything, so I'm not going to speak on that. But like, that's the one thing that would make me go, like, this isn't doing any good if they're not proving that these are real people. Because like, I mean, I guess how
Yeah.
do you prove that it's a real person? I don't know.
So
you can fake that very easily.
establish your presence and build a community with Meta Verified. Get access to exclusive benefits. Enhance verification. Let your followers know it's the real you with a verified badge on your Instagram profile. Proactive protection. Avoid impersonation with active account monitoring. And direct support, and get help when you need it from a real person on issues that matter to you, with exclusive extras, expressing yourself with stickers only available to Meta Verified subscribers.
But
Meta Verified is $14.99 per month.
Jesus Christ, that's so much money.
Why?
But like, how?
Yeah.
But like, can't any person go, I'm just gonna take all of Gavin's pictures, put them onto this dummy account, and then pay for a verification of it? And how do they prove that? I mean, like, all they would do, they would just, like, you could change the name, change the account, completely different information besides the photos. They could steal your identity. I don't know but like I'm saying, how do they prove that you're a real person that's paying for a verification? Because obviously what you can do is, if you see that, you go, just like, before, whenever like people would make fake accounts and fake OnlyFans.
Yeah, you could just report them for impersonating you.
Right. And then that would go away.
Yeah, but it's like now that they're paying for it.
And now that they have verification, it's like, and then it's going to get, I just feel like it's just a messy thing that isn't good.
Yeah.
On that side. And again, I don't know. I haven't gone through the process of
I'm-
seeing exactly what they do.
I am
to
curious
prove
about
it.
what they do, but I think it might just. I think the thought process is no one who's like really trying to do that is going to put in the effort to buy something for $15 minimum.
I'm
saying. No, I'm saying that that's the thought process with that. Is that it's like that is the thought process. Is there like no one would ever go that far as to steal
it's their thought
that?
process.
That's their
I see,
thought
I see.
process.
Yeah.
Yes, people would do it, But
Absolutely.
the reason why they did, I mean, again, we're maybe just speculating here. I'm not buying it. Nobody impersonate me.
You guys can impersonate him. I won't tell him. Just let me know, so I'll make sure that I'll
Stop.
I'll take his phone and then I'll block it so he never even sees it.
So
It's
dumb.
It's weird. It's dumb. I don't know. I just see too
The
many.
social media wars have begun.
I see too many flaws in it, even with like a true send in your ID and prove that this is you, and then email verification and all this other stuff. I just I don't know. I see too much fucking fake shit out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm getting catfish every other week.
You don't know what's real anymore based off the
That's
AI
why
or
that
not.
OnlyFans thing pissed me off. Do you know how many OnlyFans I paid for to only find out that they were all fake? And I'm the one getting scammed. Some bullshit.
You know what else is some
Free
bullshit?
Donald Trump.
You weren't supposed to do that.
Obama. That one was loud. Obama is bullshit, dude. I've been saying that since 2008. When I was a little 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Saying that Obama was bullshit. No, dude, Donald Trump is he's getting locked up. They already put him away. They put him in a holding cell.
I think so Donald Trump
Heard of him?
mayhaps committed a couple crimes.
How many?
34, but that was so the thing is that it's one crime, 34 different documents. He did it 34 different times.
Okay.
So, but theoretically, for let's just say he was chronically doing this for over a long period of time. So there's a couple things that are different that kind of factor into this. I'm talking like this because I need to be able to get this out slowly and correctly.
Yeah.
There's a couple on TikTok that are both lawyers and they explained it very well.
Oh.
So shout out to I don't remember their name, but shout out to them. I watched their entirety of the video and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I get it. I can explain it now. Basically, every count can hold the max sentence of 4 years because it was so many counts. Usually, a first-time offender is not going to get a max sentence on a non-violent offense.
Okay.
However, depending on the judge, it could be a complete ego thing and be like, yeah, fuck you. Like, it literally could be as much as what the judge says.
And
then,
also,
on top of that, there's also just another thing is that these crimes happened in 2017, which was 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the statute of limitations in the state of New York says that if you are in the state of New York continuously for 5 years, and they specifically use continuously for 5 years, then you can't be charged for that crime if they're not going to charge you within that 5 year.
If you're continuously in
if you're continuously in the state. Donald Trump notoriously did not spend a lot of time in New York.
No.
Spent a lot of time in Florida, at Mar-a-Lago.
It's dirty. I don't like it.
And Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Draining the swamp. So that is a thing that has, I think, factored into the reason why they even arraigned him for this indictment.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that was funny to me, just in general, this is outside of that video now, was that he was comparing himself to Nelson Mandela, and that was a reason why that could have been, but I think that is the main reason why they didn't want him to get handcuffed or mugshotted, was because he could use that for political leverage.
Right.
And they do not. CIA, FBI, Secret Service, they don't want that. And the Secret Service was like, no, absolutely not. No handcuffs.
Right.
So.
Because they have to be with the bastard even if he goes to jail. Did you know that?
Wait, really?
If he goes to prison, he has to have Secret Service go in there with him and like stay there in prison with him to still protect him because that's their duty.
Okay, they do a handoff every 8 hours after their shift. All right, so they do it like a nurse at a hospital where they're like, okay, so he had he had a nap from 2 to 4, and then I gave him a snack with a light drink.
Look, bye-bye.
light drink of some Gatorade.
To possible and possibilities.
Yeah,
So-
that's
But that really is what they would have to do because I
Yeah.
doubt that one or two Secret Service agents were going to stay 24 hours a day.
oh yeah, no,
serve the
they'll be
sentence
taking
with them.
shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That way-
they just send to Secret Service to prison. Like, no,
Like,
you guys
you're
are
going
stuck
with
there.
them.
It's like, what? I didn't even do anything. The one thing I was gonna say
Protecting
About-
and serving.
about the judge thing that you brought up,
Yeah.
Aaron Judge. No, speaking of New York, a judge can, like you said, a judge can just be like, man, fuck you. We're
Yeah.
gonna go max,
Yeah.
whatever we want to do. Comparing that, there's parallels in the Alex Jones case and this case because Trump is making fun of the judge and some other people
There's
on
there's-
Truth Social
On top of that,
Mhm.
and the DA.
and the DA. That's what I was thinking of.
And his lawyers are also talking to the press.
Right. And they're making fun of them, which is exactly what Alex Jones was doing on his show after he would leave the courthouse on like a way bigger scale. And then like what will happen, I'm sure, in the Trump case that happened in Alex Jones' case is
He's
that
playing
stuff will
with
be brought
fucking
up
fire.
in court.
Yeah,
That
and
stuff was brought up in court.
He's deleted some of them, and they already have
They
screenshots.
have them.
They have
Yeah,
them.
of course.
And it's so
I've
fu-
seen screenshots.
Of
Of Trump with a baseball bat next to
the DA.
Yeah, the DA. And it's like, it's so fucking dumb. It's just
You're
like,
doing it. Listen. If he's doing it for the memes, that's great.
yeah, but that's not going to help. It didn't help Alex Jones.
No, that's
He
what I
owes
mean. Great,
billions
keep
of
doing
dollars.
it. Go ahead, keep
Well,
doing
that's
it.
the thing. It's like, yeah, please keep doing that.
No, you know
I
what?
will laugh
that
at
was
it.
really funny. You should keep doing it.
Right.
I love your jokes.
Right. And that's not going to help because they're going to go harder on him.
Right.
They're not going to, give up on it.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
And it was also a jury of people. It wasn't just the
Hmm.
DA that was like, "Hey, bring this guy in."
right.
It was a jury of people,
Right. They
as
yeah,
unbiased as possible. Possible.
To possible
That you could get with someone who maybe didn't follow politics. Donald Trump,
United States.
New York. Like, you had to find the most unbiased person who has never heard of Donald Trump.
Well, that's
which
probably
is
why it took
probably
so long.
Yeah.
To whittle them out.
I-
They're like,
but seriously.
what? Which way do you vote?
Yeah.
I've never voted. You're in.
Yeah. Can you name the last 4 presidents?
Jefferson,
Washington, Lincoln, FDR,
I think.
JFK.
Yeah, no, seriously, they probably had.
JFK in there somewhere.
I would just. Well, no, never mind.
To possible
So
he's
interesting.
Where are they? Because obviously the first day he was in was yesterday. Did they have more stuff today?
I don't fucking.
I didn't really pay any attention to it, to be complete. I just saw this stuff yesterday.
Well,
and-
because it was like wall-to-wall coverage
leading
of-
up.
leading up to and after
Right.
that. So
And it's probably still is. I just haven't
yeah,
seen it. Obviously, nothing that interesting has happened
Yeah.
if I haven't seen anything.
So.
So, free Donald Trump, get it tattooed everywhere.
he pled not guilty by himself.
Right.
And then someone was like, "That is usual."
Right.
It's so crazy because they have to speak so broad, or they have to speak so like as if nobody's ever heard of anything judiciary before in their entire life, because
Right.
so many people would probably misconstrue what something is said in the most like literal of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he pled not guilty. That means that he's not guilty, or he did it himself and not his lawyer. What's his
Right.
lawyer doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they get into those types of conversations.
Right.
But anyway,
They're
a
all
lot of,
they're
a lot
all
of speculation on both sides.
stupid.
You can't really tell who's right, who's wrong.
You can't. I don't even know if I'm right.
I can't even tell who's my friend.
I don't know anything about
I
me.
can't tell who's woke, who's not woke, who's playing with their shit or not.
Who's play with their poop?
Their poop.
Their poop. They big stinky logs.
There was a tweet that was like, I think it's so funny that he claims that he is. I think it's so funny that he claims that he is completely sober for his entire life. So like,
Does
I
he
buy
really
that
claim
one.
that?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
he like says that
I
he
think I have
never
pictures
drinks.
to prove
And same
otherwise.
thing with Biden.
Biden says that too.
Yes,
Oh man.
they both claim they're completely sober for their entire life.
He had a friend that he called Corn Pop.
Who's to say it wasn't marijuana?
Well,
It's completely sober from alcohol, at least.
did you know that they're gonna they're planning to
They're planting
lift
marijuana
They're
plants.
planting in my backyard.
Yeah.
they're planning to lift the marijuana ban for NBA players.
Oh yeah, that's next year. It'll take effect next year.
Oh, so that's already confirmed.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That's
that's already
awesome.
confirmed. That was a collective bargaining agreement.
Confirming today, I'm joining the NBA just because of that. It's like we live in a legal state, but I want to join the NBA just to prove that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing, folks.
They can also invest in NBA teams, WNBA teams, and marijuana dispensaries.
Interesting.
And within that also comes a in-season play-in tournament. They have an in-season tournament that they're doing now. Don't know how that's going to play out. It's so confusing to me right now.
What? They have an
in-season, not playoff, but just an in-season tournament that will have an in-season award. They also made it so that award winners for NBA, they made it so that major award winners, that includes all NBA teams, have to play a minimum of 65 games to be considered for these awards. So you can't have,
Steph Curry.
Yeah. Can't have Steph Curry, KD, guys who Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, who do like LeBron.
Why can't it
Load management.
Klay Thompson.
You can't. Well, Klay Thompson would never be considered MVP, but
well,
like there's that plays into it.
I like that.
And a positionless All NBA teams and defensive teams. So it used to be 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. So now the teams will be the 5 best players, like top 5, top 10. Top 15. So it's like
for
all NBA teams. So it used to be 2 guards, 2 forwards, 1 center per team. So now you can have theoretically a team, NBA all NBA first team of 5 centers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Or all 5 guards. And then also
you used to not be able to do that.
Yeah, you used to. And also another reason why some people would kind of scammed out or kind of just
I feel like I don't like that.
Well, before I like it now, but before they used to be, again, 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone would say guard/forward, some voters would vote for them as a guard, and some voters would vote for them as a forward, and that would split the vote, so they wouldn't get any award at all. Which that has contract stipulations and bonuses, and like with the stipulation, it comes with longer contract, bigger contract. And then there's bonuses that you can meet, quotas, stuff like that. And then...
So why would this new rule affect that? Affect that part of it?
Because more people who would be deserving of it would get the awards. So All-NBA first team is still going to be 5 players. All-NBA second team is still going to be 5 players. But it's going to be like, it could be more viewed as top 5 players, All-NBA first team. 6 through 10, All-NBA second team. And then 11 through 15 so it'd be like the top 15 players in the league would be getting the awards.
Sure. I just feel like that just seems like not very inclusive.
No, it's super inclusive. No, it's super inclusive now. It's very inclusive because before you could only have 3 centers you could only have 3 centers between all 3 teams. You could only have 1 center in the first team, 1 center on the second team. So only 3 centers in the entire league would be considered all NBA.
Okay, I see.
And now you can have all NBA first team centers, multiple of them.
Right.
So you have like the best players getting the best awards.
I guess that makes sense. I just wonder
positionless basketball has also just become more of a thing. So
that's what I was thinking too. It's just like why even
have that in the first place? I don't know. But they kept it for so long.
Because like my thing is
because the all rookie teams are positionless.
Yeah.
So it was weird.
That's the thing is because it's like for me. I guess my thought is like, what if a guy got in last year or this year because he was a certain position, but then next year he's not because he's not good enough to be on the team, but like all these other, people are.
Well, then if he's not good enough, then he doesn't get the award.
Right. But then that's where I'm like, I feel like either way, it does seem a little.
It's more like inclusive on the season. Because you have to play 65 games, and you have to prove that you're good enough to get the votes for those teams.
Then that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's completely...
But like you said, I just positionless.
Yeah.
Yeah, just remove the position thing.
So there's that comes with the collective bargaining agreement.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that that's really good. I think all of those things are very exciting for the league. I'm excited to see what the in-season tournament has to do with anything, but But whether it's just bragging rights or money or all turn into an all-star game or like how it's gonna work.
It's gonna be weird.
I'm interested to see how that works, but I think it makes it a little bit more fun and have like the fans kind of like tuned in to that a little bit almost better, for lack of a better word. Just more fans tuned into certain games
because you're like, oh, this
thing matters,
and then they'll still have the finals at the end of your season. Then I'll keep watching.
Right.
No, I agree with that. I also heard they're adding a pitch clock.
And bigger bases.
Yeah, there you go. They're gonna make the So next door drama. I wasn't gonna say anything offensive. I just had nothing else to say.
I didn't think so.
Next door drama. We're moving on, Gavin.
The Nuggets clinched the West as well. They won the West. They won the first seed in the West.
Didn't they already do that?
They officially did it today. They clinched the playoffs, but now they clinched the entire Western Conference as the number 1 seed. They could not be eliminated from first seed contention now.
Oh, I didn't know they still had the clinch. Go Nuggets, even though Eastern Conference is stacked. Like every team is like their KDR. I don't know what the term is way higher. Like I think the top five teams on the Eastern are like all higher than the Nuggets.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. So it's like, okay, awesome, but we'll see what happens. Just like last year. That's cool. I'm a Nuggets boy, even though I don't really watch basketball too often, but I still say that's my team. Moving on, though. Next door drama, a segment we do pretty much every week, is we go to the infamous Next Door blog posting website, app, whatever you want to call it. And it's a blog posting site for your neighborhood, which can expand up to a certain mile radius. And what we do is we go and we find a blog post because there's so many and there's millions of comments per post. We take it, we script out the post and the comments, reenact it as a dramatic reading, as if Gavin and I are playing those same people in real life. This week's Next Door drama is called, Why is Police Letting These Crooks Go Free? I will be playing the character of Brian, who's a man of values. Gavin will be playing Pat, who's a white person. Gavin's only. I mean,
that's the only role I ever play, really.
Right. I mean, he's.
Some would say my best role.
He's playing the character he was born to, and I think that's really the only descriptor you need for Pat. And so I'm gonna hit the theme song, and then we're gonna get right into it. Here we go. This week on Next Door Drama.
Beware of Arby's on the Rock Road in Bridgeton. Keep a close eye on your credit card when you give it to them. Otherwise, they will copy it for later use. It happened to me today, but I caught them, took me waiting in line at the window for 20 minutes before calling the police. Then it suddenly appeared, so be careful. Otherwise, they take a pic of your card, front and back, and scam you later. Cancel your card and get a new one. Just an FYI.
The bad thing is that, like most things in our country today, they won't do anything to them. It's not fraudulent to take a picture of the card. It's not until they use it that it's fraud, and neither the cops nor the credit card company will go after them.
Why is police letting these crooks go free?
Because our woke society says it's our fault that we make them steal. Nothing is ever the fault of the person who does wrong.
The police don't. They do what they can, but their hands are tied.
They still need your zip code and or address.
They can get that online.
Oh, damn. That's crazy.
why is police letting these crooks go free?
I just want to know all I have to say is the police they do what they can, but their hands are tied. I mean, I've been saying that for years.
I think it's saying that because our woke society says it's our fault that we make them steal, they said the police don't say that. Society does. They do what they can, but their hands are tied.
Oh, punctuation.
Yes.
It's the bane of our existence, Gavin. We should do away with punctuation already.
I mean, next door is should be the case study in which you could say punctuation doesn't matter.
That's true. Next door is the pinnacle of American society, in my opinion.
Actually, I wanted to shout out the city of St. Louis today.
Shout out.
For camping in our circle drive at our college. and pulling over people who blow the stop sign in front of our college.
Oh, nice.
Someone
Don't
counted.
they always do that?
No.
Oh.
There's a circle drive,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Not like the circle by like the parking garage, but there's like a weird like parking lot that nobody uses. They're sitting in this parking lot nobody uses and waiting at this there's a 3-way stop technically. At Taylor and Duncan. If I really want to geolocate myself, but
it's
that's the stop. That's the stop sign that everybody in St. Louis like totally blows through.
Yeah,
especially.
I know what you're talking about now.
Oh my God! It's good that they're doing it, but it was actually insane because we were taking an exam, and we heard this, and literally in an hour and a half, 14 people got pulled over by a guy on a motorcycle the first day, and then the second day it was a guy in a police truck, like a flatbed truck.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like
I know what you're
a
talking
Ford
about.
like truck.
Right.
Not like a SUV, but like a truck, pickup truck.
Interesting.
Very weird. And they just pulled him up and I was watching it before I went into the exam. Like it was crazy because all he does is go whoop, and then follows a person, and then they he hands him like a piece of paper and then like runs him down like a list of stuff and then like lets him go. I don't know what it ends up being, but it's very quick.
It's probably just a warning then, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably just like, hey, stop.
Because whenever I got pulled over for the first time, it took like 2 hours, but that's because we had a standoff with gunfire.
Yeah. Whenever I got pulled over for blowing a stop sign, no lie, I actually did get a ticket for that.
Really?
I didn't get a warning. I didn't get a warning. He said, "You blew that stop sign. I could have been going to a crime. You're getting a ticket."
He really said that?
I mean, lack of a better, he did say, "I could have been going somewhere and I could have crashed into you." I'm like, it's midnight, the night before Mother's Day. I'm trying to get home.
My interaction of when I got pulled over was fine. I've talked about it before, but I've had other.
I actually had a really
interactions.
good interaction. He gave me a warning, but it was also just a really
Yeah, but that circumstance is so stupid.
It is, but I'm just saying that it was a good, what I expect normal cop stops to be.
Which is how mine was too.
Yeah.
I was nervous as shit.
Yeah, dude, if I was wearing my Apple Watch, you would have seen my heart rate go up to 150. I would have been
same. Wait, was this the same time you held the information out of the window and the guy yelled at you to get your arms back in? Or was that
no, that was the first one. That was whenever I got pulled over.
That one was not a good interaction.
Yeah, it was like dude was pissed about something.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I was like, out of my head, I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just trying to get home.
When the cop pulled me over, he seemed almost as nervous as I was. He walked up super slow, and he was like, "Hey, pulled you over because we're cracking down on people in this area, and you were going, 10 over, 5 over, yada yada." He didn't give me a warning. He still gave me a ticket, but yeah, it took too long. He went back.
Yeah,
He went back
they
and then
usually
came
get
back to
up.
me.
They got a second car. They got a second car for me but the second guy didn't even do anything. He just was back there, and I was like, okay.
This guy didn't need any back. He knew I was He knew I could protect him.
Why is police letting these crooks go free?
I keep asking it. And then I also ask the police, don't they do what they can, but their hands are tied?
Police don't.
The police don't.
They
do what they can, but their hands are tied.
So Carson.
Yes.
Too.
Yes. I didn't write it down yet because I wasn't sure until last
me go first?
night. If you want to, yeah.
I am listening to, and you saw the promo for it, Panic by Paris, Texas.
Oh, yes. Why did it have to do with Mars?
I don't know.
Was that the promo for that song?
It was a promo for something.
Oh, okay.
But this new song is really good. I really enjoyed it. This is a great.
Really good.
It was really good. I really enjoyed the song.
I need to listen to it.
It's
I
it's
always
really
forget about Paris, Texas, and I can't remember if I like them or not. I think I like them, but
Yeah.
I can't remember.
good. Then there was I also was thinking about it, but I listened to the song and I'm like, it's generic. There was a new release from Beach Fossils, who I recommended probably a year ago.
Okay.
I listened to their album. I forgot the way I found out about them, but I think they're releasing a new album, so they released like a single or two. So gonna have to get into that a little bit more. But
Nice.
what are you listening to this week?
So mine, I have a few things that I've been listening to recently, but this one just kind of came out of nowhere. I guess early this week. And it's a song by a band I've never heard before. I was there's this podcast called it's some hardcore podcast. I don't listen to the podcast, but I probably should.
God.
And like they had a big episode where they like asked a bunch of famous hardcore musicians, either from like, back in the 80s or recent ones now, and said what is the best breakdown of all time in a song, or what song is the best breakdown of all time. It was like a varying degree of different answers. Most of them were like older songs because it's like, we got to go with the ones that like started it all.
Yeah.
And, they're fine songs, and some of them are good and some of them are eh. But I kind of I do like the older stuff. But I usually like that like late 90s into early 2000s kind of sound and breakdown style. And so that's why this song really stuck with me, because it's just crazy heavy. It's called The Seventh Star by Seventh Star. And I don't know much about the band. I literally looked up information for the first time about them earlier today. And once again, they were or are, because I guess they're not making music, but they're like technically back together. A Christian hardcore band.
They're on good terms.
They're on good terms.
You have a good history with Christian hardcore bands, though.
For whatever reason, man, and it's been said before, I'm not the first one to say it, Christian hardcore and Christian metal bands make really good music. For whatever reason, it's just great music. And like half of none of their imagery or music seems Christian to me. So I don't know how they're a Christian, but like that's just how they identified, I guess.
Really? They like what the lyrics?
That's like, I don't know. I haven't looked at the lyrics, so maybe that's where it'll come into play. But like, nothing about it makes me go like, oh yeah, this is for sure Christian.
Yeah.
Now Under Oath, you listen to their older songs and you're like, yeah, this is
that's
Christian.
Or,
Anti-abortion stuff or whatever from way back in the day.
Or the Killers.
Creed. Killers are Christian?
Mormon.
No way. I didn't know that. So what is I'm coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine.
Well,
What
I think
does
it's
that
like
mean?
their more recent albums, I think, man. But
Their more recent albums are Mormon? Whoa, I didn't know that.
yeah.
Whoa, that makes things way different for me now.
Somebody
look
told
into
me that you had a girlfriend.
That you had 3 girlfriends, and I was like, that's cool. I want to be a part of that. Wow, I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. But anyways, The Seventh Star by Seventh Star, really heavy song. The breakdown like hits like in the first 10 seconds of the song. It's just really good. The vocalist has a super deep but like groggly voice. It's just a good song, and like I never heard of it. I never heard of this band, and now I'm in. I like it. So it's just a good heavy song.
So I wanted to address the Killers thing. This is from
Please do.
the Utah Statesman. The Utah Statesman. Brandon Flowers, lead singer of the Killers, talks balancing faith and music on The Foyer. This is the first sentence. This came out in 2021.
Okay.
January 6th. Brandon Flowers might be the most famous Mormon in the world, or tied only with Senator Mitt Romney.
Okay.
As the lead singer of the famous rock band The Killers, he had a lot to focus on, but there was never a time where faith wasn't on the schedule. think might need to get a little bit more into the killers.
So is it
I'll
like
send
a
you the
born?
article, but
Is it like, I wonder if it's like a born again thing, or if it was like always there and it was just like
no.
now it's coming to fruition and.
It's yeah.
I'll read it. I'll read
yeah.
it tonight while I'm in bed. I'll print it out and get a flashlight and read it.
I think he was Mormon like lifelong.
Okay. I just feel like I would have heard of that by now.
Oh, buddy.
Well, I got a lot of thinking to do.
Well, let's wrap it up.
Well, let's get out of here. I think that's
Let's
it.
skedaddle out of here.
I've had about enough. It's been a good week, man. I've been super busy recently, but this week was a little bit
lesser.
A little bit less busy than usual. It was nice.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening to the It Takes All Kinds podcast, episode 109 out of 100. Oh, man. It's been a long day. So keep watching, keep listening, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep rating, keep telling your friends about it, keep, posting if you want. Post it, share it, do whatever, send it, and let me know what you're thinking.
Please.
The vultures are waiting to pick your bones.